One thing that is true is that it is difficult to kill a vision that its time has come, no matter how, wherever it is. If this is the moment for the voice, you can't kill it. And this is the time for the international world to know that there are issues going on in the Delta.
Our economy could take a hit depending on what happens in the coming months in a mysterious part of Africa. It's the Niger Delta in Nigeria, and it holds vast riches of oil. Militants there are on the attack, seizing foreigners and vowing destruction. They insist the poverty-stricken people of the Delta deserve a greater share of the oil wealth.
The movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta is a struggle, a movement for the liberation of the Niger Delta. We will take lives. We will destroy lives. We will crumble the economy mercilessly.
It is only when it is violent that is when they will come down and give attention to the people. That was like a kind of shield. They were using those people as a protection against the federal government.
But I consider the taking of hostages as part of negotiation, which is not a violent act at all. It is not. And the federal government knows that.
We are letting the Nigerian state believe that we are taking our resources by true peaceful means. They have killed so much of our prophets. In the year 1998, the youth gathered in Kayama peacefully. In a rally like this, they were murdered.
The kidnapping now is highly politically motivated. You've got competing political figures.
From 1999 to date, more than 20 communities have been wiped out completely. More than 50,000 persons have been killed by military bullets in the Delta. And nobody is saying anything about it.
The authorities can't see beyond their noses. The oil companies have failed to understand that their operation in the Niger Delta is better served when they stand to defend the people, when they stand to protect the environment, when they stand to insist on justice.
The awareness of the impact of oil on the environment and the livelihood of the people has grown to a place where even a kid in the village will know that he is starving because of the oil companies.
All these people who are fisher women, they go to the river, they can no longer catch fish because the oil exploration activities have damaged their aquatic life.
Fishing is their only means of livelihood.
They will allow this crude oil remain in this water for maybe 1 month to, you know that it will now damage the whole system.
What is the benefit of the oil multinationals here anyway? Some animals that we used to have in our bush now, we have to describe to our children.
The effect of the flare is on the water. That's why you see people getting skin diseases as a result of the acid rain.
During the dry season, this is the one we manage the next rainy season.
If you look at it, there is no difference with the water and crude oil, there is no difference.
Any of you can taste it.
No, please, no, thank you.
It's the water we drink. You see the difference? I got both of them. You see the difference? You see?
The one thing that people need to know is that for every barrel of oil that comes out of the ground in the Niger Delta, 60% goes to the federal government, 40% goes to the corporations. And the understanding was that, okay, the federal government will out of its 60% plow some back into the region. But that is not happening.
90% of the resources that sustain Nigeria are being tapped from majorly oil and gas. No medical attention, no food commodities, no housing, no road, no electricity, nothing at all you can talk about when we're talking about the inhabitant. There is absolutely nothing. It's 100% zero.
If they leave, it will not affect us in any form. Fine, we'll feel the impact of their presence as the environment will become normal again. Yes. If they leave, the better. If they leave, we will feel the impact. We will feel the impact of their absence in the sense that our environment will become normal again gradually.
We should be given the right to control our resources, because resource control is our right. We are not begging; it's not a privilege. It's our right to control our resources.
This environment has to stay for generations yet unborn. When the generations come, they will miss something on the ground.
Over time, the activities of the oil companies are not helping the people of the Niger Delta. And if this situation is not checked, the future generation will be wiped out.
I mean, I care, and I mean, it's there. It's a passion I have, and I appreciate that Chevron even gives opportunity to express that passion.
Close to 30 years ago, it was not like this.
Because you drive around the States, you go in a Costco, and you sort of start thinking about, you know, what you just saw in the Delta, and then you look at your children and you say, my God, you know, these are things that my children are growing up in this wonderful sort of American environment, and they're great, and then you look at the children in the Delta and you say, there, but for the grace of God, could have been my children.
Right now, we are borrowing from our grandchildren. I don't even know what we are going to leave.
If this happens here, where are we going to go? Where do we go?
Where do we go?
Any kind of flood now, you see everybody here being swept out.
They can have a means of actually having money to train the children and then to have a better livelihood, that they will be very happy.
There is no school. Even the schools that are there, they are not teachers to bring up these people.
The motivation to even go to school is not even there. Even if you go to school, you won't get a job because the companies are not employing locals.
Given the situation we're in, the Niger Delta is a completely different kettle of fish from most parts of the world.
I like the American people and people all over the world to realize there's a segment of humanity that's here in the Niger Delta suffering as a result of oil production. Ordinary men, women, children. They should think about them and not think simply of energy and all that, but think of them as people. That's more important than anything.
Yes, the guns are not good. Hostage taking is criminal. Kidnapping is crime. It's an international crime. It's against all international conventions. But that's not what is calling for attention now. Even if you move in the military to wipe out those young men who are carrying guns, rest assured the world that maybe the children that are going to be born today will carry guns tomorrow.
Another reason why they take hostage is not because they want to arm American citizens. It's not because they want to arm people from other parts of the world.
It was simply a way of drawing attention to their situation.
I think of them as basically gangsters. You know, you have terrorist gangsters. That's the situation you have. That's what MEND is. It's a classic case of the natural resource curse. As oil money came in, corruption rose, and a lot of the cultural norms, the village life got disrupted.
When a government is involved, it is not terrorism. But when the people are involved, it's terrorism.
Who is financing it? Who is bringing in the big vessels? Who is bringing in the shuttling vessels?
Who do you think?
The big wig in the government.
The government, the people, they want to always enrich their pockets, no matter what.
Because people who tried in the past to do it without guns were killed and destroyed.
All along, you know very well that what led to the hostage taking was the indiscriminate shooting and bombing of the people of Baramatu.
In Nigeria, in the Nigerian context, peaceful agitation or peaceful protest has not yielded any results. It has never.
Ken Saro-Wiwa came, he was an intellectual. He never carried gun. Ken Saro-Wiwa never carried gun. He was calling for international attention. What did they do to him? And every other person who was with him was executed.
If you talked, you begged, you talk today, you talk tomorrow, you begging, these things will change. And nobody is listening. I think you need to put in some measures, some strong measures to stop it.
So the frustration expressed by youths in the Niger Delta is an unfortunate manifestation of the refusal to insist on dialogue.
We're caught up in an environment where it's hostile, where there's a complete abandonment of government rule. I mean, as a young child growing up in Benin-Kuku, for instance, you wake up in the morning and you take on your boat, you enter your boat with 4 or 5 of your friends, and you can terrorize anybody.
Even in the process of violence, you see some people have to lost their lives. Supposing it's your brother that died or it was your sister that died, of course you won't be happy. I'm just trying to explain.
I have so many brothers that
died.
died.
Even me too. Anyway, otherwise, if not, dialogue is still the best. It's just that sometimes they don't listen to it. So it's when this violence comes in, they'll not say, "Oh, what's going on there?"
See,
it catches their
let
attention.
me tell you something. If I die today, sitting right here, I have not achieved anything. I just die. But if I die while trying to change my life, I think that is the best way to die.
If you just look at it on the surface and say because there are some young men carrying guns, maybe they are terrorists or terrorism is trying to brew, that will not solve the problem.
I say that there are things that we are skipping in the Niger Delta struggle, because when you follow the philosophy of non-violence, there are steps and there are principles.
Because I know that if I don't tell my story, nobody's going to do it for me. Want this place can be a better place, a beautiful place. Another world is possible if only those who are in charge are sensitive enough.
And the mothers, like I know, have no other choice because they too cannot, sit back watching their husbands and maybe growing children being destroyed. I'm sure some of the women, the strong ones, will want to, be part of it.
How do you expect women to be harmed? The mothers, how do you expect them to be harmed people? They were shot at.
She's happy, I am looking for mama. I am traveling on the way. There is nothing like mama to you. There was nothing like mama to you. There is no